put him in the enclosure, and you want to make sure that he gonna be comfy cozy, not either hot as hell, get me out of here, or damn, it's cold, y'all got a blanket? I'm Louie, Flexin' Pythons. We got a reaction video today, and this is gonna be going over people telling us tips for new reptile keepers, and we're gonna respond to it. Either we're gonna learn something, we're gonna have some input, and there's gonna be times also where we just relate with our own experiences. We're gonna be reacting to Alyssa's lizards. To be honest, I haven't seen too much of her stuff yet, but I did see her on a podcast, Derek's Reptiles. He had her on, and then I've subscribed to her. And since I subscribed, this is the first video she uploaded and the title really caught my attention. Make sure you go check her out. A link to her channel is gonna be down in the description below, as well as a link to the original video. As we can see, she got a nice background going on. She got a lot of enclosures set up. I really dig the sign there on the right-hand corner. It says, Alexa, feed the reptiles.
Welcome and welcome back to Alyssa's Lizards. I'm Alyssa and these are all of my critters. I was lucky enough this year to get to go to the North American Reptile Breeders Conference in Tinley Park, Illinois.
First of all, the Tinley Expo, I really want to go to that. That's cool that she was able to go. We can pretty much bet that the tips that she's going to be getting are probably from established and well-respected breeders for sure. So this is going to be good information.
One of the things that I did while I was there, I went and asked as many YouTubers, reptile keepers, pet owners, breeders, basically what their #1 piece of advice is for brand new reptile keepers. So I'm gonna give you guys that advice and I hope you enjoy.
As we find out the advice and tips that these breeders and keepers are gonna be giving us, I want you to put down in the comments, what was your favorite tip out of all these?
We are here with Mason Barnes. Be sure to give him a follow if you don't already. I don't know what you're doing.
I have no idea what I'm doing. What am I doing?
#1 piece of advice to brand new reptile keepers. Research.
That
Literally,
is my favorite answer.
You can never do enough research about the animal that you're going to keep. Even if you're currently keeping them, there's always new stuff coming out. So continue to learn and always be open to it.
This might be an obvious tip, but it's probably one of the most important ones. Research. Whatever you plan on getting, know about it before you actually get it is ideal. A lot of people get things on a whim. I'm not one of those persons. I get anxiety if I don't know what I'm doing or if I don't have an idea of what I'm doing. Ball pythons, comfortable with. I've had them forever, since I was 13. Super dwarf Super dwarf retic back there. I was binge watching Reach Out Reptiles like crazy, trying to figure out information because they're different than any other snake I've ever kept or researched. And then the lizard over here, I was looking into him for about 5 months, trying to make sure I felt ready. I never felt ready. Never felt ready, and so I never got one. I just kept waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. I wasn't confident in my knowledge, even though I knew the basics. It actually took one of my friends, Tommy's Reptiles. You don't know who that is? He's on TikTok. Make sure you follow him. He's almost at 400,000 followers. Proud of you, man. He texted me and he was just like, yo, just get it. Just get it. You do what you can, research-wise, online, internet, asking people that already have experience with whatever you're trying to get. Eventually, there's gonna be some things though, some anxieties that will not go away. The only way for those to go away is to just get it and learn some things as you go. You're gonna have to learn some things as you go. You won't know everything before you get it, but do your best. Do your best to know the basics though. The basic care, like temperatures. How hot do they like it? How cold do they like it? What do they eat? How often should they eat? Just basics like that. Humidity. Things like that to at least keep it alive. And if you can't find information online, because there's some animals that we are into that doesn't have much information. It's not like you're going out buying a golden retriever and there's a bunch of books on golden retrievers. Some people are getting things that just doesn't have as much information out there. Then I urge you to try to find people that are already keeping these things and pick their brains. That's definitely a good tip from Mason.
Okay, we are here with my friend Catalia. If you don't know her and follow her yet,
I am already subscribed to her.
You should. She is wonderful. And she is going to tell us what her #1 piece of advice is for brand new reptile keepers.
Well, I mean, of course, everyone will say do lots of research, which is true, but
I'm guessing Lissa is giving all these people a heads up as to what's already been said. I'm assuming.
So I think you want to do research on who you're buying from, because especially if you're getting something that can also be purchased as like an import or like a wild-caught animal, you want to do lots of research on who you're buying from as well to make sure you're getting a healthy animal from good lines.
That's some good information. Do research on the animal, and then before you get the animal, do research on who you're buying it from is what she said. Did I do my research on what I bought and who I bought them from? Absolutely. Especially when you're talking about things that you plan on breeding and some of those genetics you can't see. You got ball pythons that are het for this and het for that. And how can you trust the person if you don't know the person, if they're giving you an animal that really has those genes in it? Some people are out there that are lying about what's het for this and what's het for that, and it's a good way to make an extra couple $100. And if it's a multi het thing, then you can be charging a lot more for that. Ultramel het pied het clown. Bet when I bought those, I made sure that the people I bought them from, I could trust. Because you're sending over a lot of money, which that's one thing that you got to be able to trust them with that, right? But when they send you an actual animal, you want to make sure that thing is healthy. Usually if you're buying it from a well-known breeder and you look into them, you can kind of get a feel if this person cares about what they do, and if you're going to be getting a quality animal with good health. An even bigger reason as to why when you get in super dwarfs, get one from someone that has a good reputation. Garrett, Reach Out Reptiles. Super dwarf. I could pretty much bank that thing ain't gonna get bigger than 9 feet. Now, if I bought it from someone I didn't know, trying to make a quick buck, don't know their genetics, they don't know the bloodlines of stuff, I could be buying a super dwarf, and that thing's gonna get 15 feet or bigger, and that's not good for me, that's not good for the snake. Same thing with my lizard over here. Brought it from John, Sim Container. Pretty much the dude you want to buy monitors from. A well-known breeder, a lot of respect. Me personally, I have no problem paying a few extra dollars to get it from a reputable breeder that I respect and I like to follow. Now, I'm not saying you got to buy one from people that are well known, but at least do your research. Make sure that they've sold to other people before. You can kind of get an idea if other people are having a good experience with this seller or not.
All right, we are here with the Dave Kopp.
A lot of subscribers, a lot of videos, a lot of good content going all over the place, showing us a lot of cool things, a lot of good advice. I'm sure he's going to come up with a banger here.
How's it going, everybody?
If you don't know who he is, you should. So
I do.
Definitely check him out everywhere. He's not hard to find. But he is going to tell us what his #1 piece of reptile advice is for brand new reptile keepers.
Okay, so my one piece of advice, I've given this a lot of thought.
You give this a lot of thought. You know this is going to be good. This is going to be good. This is Dave Kopp, and he's about to come up with some fire advice.
About 30 seconds worth. And I guess my one piece of advice for new reptile people is when you go to an expo, bring cash.
That's a good one. I did not bring cash. Dumb. I didn't do it.
I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty let down, Dave. Of all the things that you could say, bring cash. What if this person isn't getting their first reptile at an expo? What if they're getting somewhere else? It's like, dang, I already got my reptile, but I got to make sure I bring cash to an expo when I go someday. That doesn't really help, Dave. I'm not going to lie. I expected a better tip there. A better tip. I can already sense someone in the comments typing, "That's what she said."
Okay, so that is key.
Yes.
I'm here with David from Tiki's Geckos, and he obviously needs no introduction. If you don't know who he is, you need to give him a follow already. But he is going to tell us what his #1 piece of advice is for brand new reptile keepers.
Yeah, so my piece of advice is always for new keepers that get into this. They're always want to, like, they see all the animals, they want to get into everything. Slow down, take your time to really do the research behind the animals that you want. And if you're planning on getting a big collection, just slow it down. There's no need to rush it. A lot of times people would get a bunch of animals and then it's too much before it starts getting out of hand.
That's a really good point. So the first time I actually got into ball python breeding, if you look back at my old videos, it felt like a matter of like 2 to 3 months. All of a sudden I had 15 to 20 snakes, somewhere in that range. And it was a lot of upkeep because I was in the military at the time and I was working 14-hour shifts. At the same time, a lot of personal things happen in everyone's life, so you got to deal with that too and juggle that on top of making sure all your snakes are taken care of. And that's just snakes. Other animals require a lot more care than just snakes. Snakes, you feed them 1 time a week, most of them, right? Lizards, things, a lot of other species like that, you got to be feeding them, some of them daily. And if you just have so many, cleaning one maybe take you 5 minutes, but all of a sudden, say you bought a bunch at one time or in a very quick time frame, all of a sudden you got 30. What's 30 times 5? Siri, what's 30 times 5? 150 minutes. Thank you, Siri. Shout out to Siri. She do the math so I don't have to. But that's a really good point. Don't overwhelm yourself. Go slow. And that's what I've learned after that, from being in my early 20s to now when I'm 30. Go slow. Go slow. As far as breeding ball pythons, I got 3. 3 that are some females that I got, and that's it so far for as far as the breeding ball pythons. I got a male normal that's just a pet that my kids love. And, Reed Tick told you about, and the lizard. And I'm good. I'm good right now. I want to see how I handle that and just enjoy what I have at the moment. It's okay. A lot of us are always focused about the next thing. Go, 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 go. All right, stop. Calm down. Take it in. Take it in. Enjoy what you have for a second. Because some people don't enjoy what they have, and it's always on to the next thing instead of truly enjoying their new addition that they got. That's one thing I learned. I'm trying to enjoy each addition and not just get it, enjoy it for the day, buy a new one the next day. Let's take our times. This is a good tip.
All right, we are with Dan the Turtle Man, and today I am going to ask him if he has any advice for any new turtle keepers.
So as far as aquatic species, because that's mostly what I work with, keep it simple, stupid would be point number 1. Point number 2, heated, clean water. You will go far. Literally, that's like the number 1 thing. And you.
So I don't know turtles like that. I did it, I always forget I did have one turtle. My first reptile ever was a turtle. It was a red-eared slider. When I was in kindergarten, my dad got it for me. I wanted one real bad. Now, I don't know too much about turtles. I don't know if a red-eared slider is an aquatic turtle or what's considered an aquatic turtle, but this is good information to have. I'm always trying to learn new things, whether it's about things I have, things I don't have. It's always nice to learn more, especially with me doing these videos. I want to learn a lot of things, so I have a lot more to talk about either in these videos or with other keepers, especially if they're into aquatic turtles or things that I don't know too much information about right now. So that's a good thing. Heated water and clean the water. One tip I would have, hey, if you're trying to go and get that Thunder badge, don't bring a turtle, okay? Lieutenant Surge, his Raichu, gonna tear that thing up.
We're here with
Jessica's Animal Friends. I watch her videos. She seems really nice. I do like her content. I watch it. I don't have a leopard gecko, but like I said, I'm trying to learn about all kinds of things, even if I don't have them. I'm starting to get an interest for everything pretty much. A lot of different animals I'm getting an interest that I didn't have prior. I learn a lot from Jessica's Animal Friends. Make sure you go check her out. She also does a really good job on making those backgrounds for enclosures, the Rocky, and just making it look real good. Way better than me. I can pretty much bet Jessica's gonna have a good tip here.
Jessica's Animal Friends, one of my good friends and favorite people in the reptile community and hobby. She's the best. She is going to give us her number 1 piece of advice for brand new reptile keepers.
Since everybody has been saying the very generic, do your research, which is obvious, I'm going to say...
Jessica very implicitly, very politely said, let's be a little bit more original on Mr. Do Your Research. I'm just kidding. Love to everyone. Hit us with some knowledge, Jess.
Use a thermostat. Make sure you're regulating the heat equipment that you're using for your reptiles so you don't burn them.
That's so important. Solid advice.
That is really solid advice. Another thing that I think you could add to that is get a temp gun and gauges for humidity and heat. Then you can know what the ambient temperature is in the room, which will affect what your thermostat should be at. The temp gun is important because you can check the temperature on all the surfaces in an enclosure. Really important, especially for lizards, I found out. Because you're gonna wanna add different elevated surfaces so that the animal can get different temperatures and kind of go to the temperature that he wants to be at. He has more variety on what his temperature can be. Also, you'll be able to find out if, hey, it is so hot over here, I need to turn it down some, or on the other side, this is a little bit too cold, we should bump up the heat a little bit. That's the only thing I would add to that was get a temp gun too with your thermostat.
All right, we're back with my favorite person.
Neptune.
You know her, you love her. She is now going to give us her number 1 tip to brand new reptile keepers and what that would be.
Yes, so I would recommend that you find a reptile vet prior to getting your animal, and the reason being it's not an if, it's a when. So it's better to have a reptile vet checked out, good to go, know they have experience, they're legit, so when you need them, you have them.
That is super accurate, and I can attest to that. I went through like 3 or 4 different vets when I had my first problem with my pets before I found the right one. So, good call.
Yep.
We can all agree that that's definitely needed. Like she said, it's not if, it's when. Especially with the other one, remember the dude that said, don't grow too quick? Well, eventually we're all gonna keep growing. We all get more, we're addicted to this stuff, we get more and more things. The more animals you have, the more chance you're gonna need a vet for something for one of them. Probably multiple of them. If you don't think it's gonna happen, then I feel bad for your animals because you're not gonna be prepared and you're gonna have to scramble to try to figure out who to take them to so that your animal can get better as opposed to not needing that extra time and already knowing where to bring them.
We're with Lucas from Cold Blooded Parties, and he's going to give us...
Cold Blooded Parties, that is a cool name. Yo, it's a party on the rocks, baby. Because it's cold as heck. It's cold in here, man. It's cold. It looked like he got a beautiful albino Burmese on him. Maybe it's a granite albino? I don't know. I don't know the morphs for Burmese too much. Just based off it, pretty sure it has albino in it, though.
Piece, his number 1 piece of advice to brand new reptile keepers.
I would have to say research and be prepared.
when you go into it, have everything set up. Don't get the animal and then figure it out. Get the enclosure, and if you especially like bioactive or something like that, keep the enclosure alive before you commit to keeping an animal alive.
That's key for bioactive, especially,
Yes.
because you have to get the cultures and the springtails and the eye spots all established first.
Yep.
I don't know anything about any of that. Springtails, isopods. That's why people have isopods. Like, okay, I thought people just liked collecting isopods, but it's for their bio enclosures. And I'm wrong. His tips in the beginning sounded like it was going to be the same stuff, but it is not at all. It is not. He's talking about being prepared ahead of time, getting enclosures ready, which is important. That's why I didn't get any animals until I already had the enclosure set up. If I don't do that, I will stress out. I will stress out. Where am I going to get the enclosure? Where am I going to find it? Don't do that. Just get it ahead of time so you're ready, so you're prepared. Same thing as they're growing. Like the super dwarf over here, he's gonna be 8-9 feet one day. I'm already thinking, even though he's only like 3 feet right now, I'm already thinking, can I get a 6x2x3 or 6x3x3 or bigger? I'm already thinking about that. And he's gonna be growing slowly because he is a super dwarf, but I want it now, so I'm ready for it. This is a good tip. I think a lot of people should remember this one, which is funny because I was assuming that he was just going to say the same stuff that we've already heard, but he did not.
And if you can commit to the routine of keeping the enclosure alive, the humidity perfect, the temperature's perfect, if you can do that, then you are ready for the animal. But that's my number one key, is make sure you are 100% prepared and ready.
A lot of it is just with knowledge. This is actually one of going out, getting and doing, and maintaining, and see if you can maintain an environment that is good for the animal that's going to be going in there before you actually get it. And if something goes wrong, it's okay. Why? Because there's nothing in there right now. So you got time to adjust it before old boy gets there, and you put him in the enclosure, and you want to make sure that he gonna be comfy cozy, not either hot as hell, get me out of here, or damn, it's cold, y'all got a blanket?
There is that advice. I hope this helps. I know that there are so many new reptile keepers out there who are looking into getting into reptile keeping and just all the joys that come with it. So I really hope that this advice helps, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time. Thank you guys so much.
Like I said, go down the description. A link to her YouTube channel is going to be down there, as well as a link to the original video. Make sure you go subscribe to her. And there was a lot of really good tips in there. If you don't have a reptile especially, make sure you check out this video. Take some notes. These are good tips for you to have while you start your journey getting your first reptile. And these tips are going to be things that you should keep in mind throughout your time keeping. The only negative I gotta say is, yo, Dave Kaufman, I expected more. I expected a better tip, dude. I ain't gonna lie. Still love you though. Yo, if you got this far, guys, please go down there, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I really appreciate it if you did, and I hope y'all have a good one.